A boring life is a choice. Nobody wants to hear that, but it's true. You're here because everything got too easy, comfortable, predictable, and now the days just blur. Today, I'm showing you exactly how to make life feel new again before another year vanishes. My friend, when did a regular Tuesday last feel worth remembering? Not a vacation, just a normal day that felt alive. For most of us, it's been a while. We have more freedom than ever, yet the days blur faster than childhood. More options, more comfort, more routine, and suddenly it's Friday, and you don't know where the week went. I know that feeling, busy with work, technically doing things, but not really in it. Busy and alive aren't the same thing. I started noticing something in people who seem to move through life differently, not the ones with the best circumstances, the ones with the best habits. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. It quietly changes how you move through your day, not in a good vibes only way. More like, these people are doing something dead simple that we keep skipping over. Sounds strange, but the clearest blueprint I found for this wasn't in a self-help book or a podcast. It was in watching how certain people actually behave before anything remarkable has happened. Before I get into what actually fixes this, I need you to think of someone you know who just seems alive. Not lucky, not rich, just on. Because that person is the whole lesson, and most people look at them and completely miss why. Think of someone you know who's genuinely energized by ordinary days, already switched on before anything good has happened. It's not a personality trait. It's not something you're either born with or you're not. It's a skill. The ability to find traction in ordinary moments, to actually show up for a Tuesday, is something you practice, or you lose. You had that skill once. A new route home felt like an event. A random conversation stuck with you for days. Nothing big, just ordinary things that landed differently because you were actually paying attention to them. That quality doesn't disappear with age, it fades with comfort. Novelty drops off, routine locks in, and the habit of making something out of nothing quietly disappears without you ever deciding to let it go. Comfort is seductive because it feels like a reward, but what it's actually doing is narrowing your world, slowly, invisibly, until the days stop feeling like anything at all. The most alive version of you isn't the one with everything figured out. It's the one with something unresolved, something being attempted, something that might not work. That tension isn't a problem to fix. It's the feeling of being in it. You don't need better circumstances to get that back. You need to stop treating ordinary moments like something to get through and start treating them like something to show up for. That's the whole skill, and it's yours to rebuild. Some people wake up and go outside, not to the phone, not to the couch, outside, and within minutes, they know what they're going to do today. Then they just do it. Right then, not Monday, not after 2 weeks of planning. Today, someone always shows up with a reason to hesitate. A skeptic, a colleague with a clipboard full of doubts, an old friend who asks, "Aren't you a little early to be doing this?" Every single time, ignored, or yeah, maybe, keep going. The project doesn't shrink because someone raised an eyebrow. That's not arrogance, it's indifference to a question that was never really worth answering. I've been in that conversation, doing something young, doing it unconventional, before I had the resume that supposedly earned it. And the pattern was always the same. The times I kept going anyway, something got built. The times I stopped to justify myself, explain myself, prove myself first, nothing. Empty hands. The question was never whether I was ready, it was whether I'd let someone else's doubt eat up time that could have gone toward actually doing the thing. You already know what you want to build. You've known for a while. The plan is mostly just a delay in a nicer font. Pick something, go outside, start today. Once you're moving, the question of whether you're qualified to move answers itself. That's the move. Decide, then build. No waiting for permission. If there's something you've been putting off because the timing never feels right, drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and you might just inspire someone else to finally start too. My friend, imagine someone who finally gets exactly what they wanted. A neighborhood full of like-minded people. Everyone shares the same taste. Everyone agrees. Everything fits perfectly. Miserable within days. Everything's easy. Nothing unexpected. Just the same loop they already know, and it drains them fast. That's not just a thought experiment. People get stuck there all the time. I've been in it. Stretches where life was technically good, stable, predictable, nothing on fire, and I felt completely flat. like I was just moving through the days instead of actually living them. The problem wasn't my circumstances, it was that I'd stopped introducing anything new. No new challenge, no new discomfort, nothing that pushed back. And without that friction, there's no texture. Without texture, the days just dissolve. You look up, and a month is gone, and nothing stands out. Comfort isn't the goal, it's a rest stop. The version of you that feels most alive isn't the one with everything figured out and locked in. It's the one with something unresolved, something being attempted, something that might not work. A life with no surprises left becomes a trap, even when it looks like a reward. That tells you what to avoid. The next part tells you what to do instead. The most alive people don't wait for an opportunity to knock. They pick up their version of a sword and walk into their version of a dungeon. Yeah, sometimes the circumstances are dramatic, mostly they're not, but the move is real. You see something worth doing, you go at it even if it might end badly, even if you're not ready, even if just thinking about it makes you want to find something easier to do instead. People don't say this enough. The part before you act is usually the worst. The dread, the stalling, the back and forth in your head. That's the hard part. The thing itself, most of the time, it's not. And on the other side of it, almost every time, a day that felt like something, a day you'd actually remember. That's the whole pattern. One kind of person finds traction in the ordinary, joy in the routine, not despite it. Another decides and moves, same day, no waiting, no overthinking. A third shows you exactly what happens when you stop caring, when you coast, when you let bitterness run the show. And a fourth just walks straight toward the hard thing, no hesitation. Be in it, decide, move. You don't need perfect conditions or a quest handed to you. You just need to stop waiting for the right moment and walk into the dungeon. My friend, they tell you to have a positive mindset and then just stop there. Cool, it's 7 a.m. Your inbox is full, your day's already packed, and nothing about it looks fun. Now what? Real life doesn't cut to the next scene. You can't skip the boring parts. You don't have a magic backyard or an extraordinary support system. The constraints are real, and they're yours. The question isn't, how do I feel positive? That's not actionable. The question is, what do the most alive people actually do? And what's the closest real version of that? Because there is one, not a mindset shift, not a morning routine overhaul, actual small moves that change how a day feels from the inside, and they're simpler than you'd expect. I tried a few of them. Some were obvious and useless. Some looked small, almost pointless, and those were the ones that actually changed things. These are the ones that worked. Oh, and quick heads up, I launched YouTube memberships, and it's a way for us to connect a bit more directly. Members get things like priority replies and can even pitch in ideas for future content. If that sounds fun, I'd be honored to have you on board. Just hit that join button below. So, do one new thing today. Nothing big, just something you didn't do yesterday. A part of the city you haven't walked through, a sport you're terrible at, that coffee shop you always drive past and never stop at. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it breaks the loop before the loop calcifies. Think about what goes into producing even a single hour of great television. Writers, directors, editors, whole teams whose entire job is making sure something actually happens in those 20 minutes. Every scene earns its place. Nothing is left to chance. You have one life, one day at a time, and most of us give it zero of that intention. Even 10 minutes the night before, actually deciding what tomorrow is going to have in it, changes how the whole day feels. Not because the plan is perfect, because you showed up for it before it even started. That's the move. Keep a running list. Not a bucket list. Those get too precious, too high stakes. More like a menu. Hundreds of options, different sizes, something small for a Tuesday. Something bigger when you've got room for it. The goal is simple. Get one done before you sleep. That day now has a shape, a beginning, and something worth pointing to at the end. That's what makes a day feel lived in instead of just survived. You don't need a writer's room. You just need 10 minutes and a list. That's the whole game. But what about the days when none of this feels possible? When just getting through it is the win? My friend, even the most energetic people have hard days. Even the most resilient people fall apart sometimes. Real life gets genuinely dark in ways most people don't talk about. The people living well aren't relentlessly happy. The point was never fake positivity. The point is having a default lean toward what's possible instead of what's wrong. Those aren't the same thing. One is denial, the other is direction. The flat stretches in my own life weren't because things were actually bad. They were because I'd stopped putting anything in the calendar. Nothing to look forward to means nothing to move toward. The days just stack up, identical, and you wonder why nothing feels like anything. Changing my mood wasn't the move. That part comes later. I made a plan instead, booked something, signed up for something, put one thing on the calendar that wasn't there yesterday, even if it was small, because mood follows action. Not the other way around. You don't wait to feel motivated and then move. You move and then you feel it. That's what people miss about the most energized people they know. They're not cheerful because life is going well. The job might be rough. The relationships might be strained. Nothing is particularly working out. They're cheerful because they already know what they're doing today. That's it. Forget optimism as a feeling. Make it a plan. Put something on the calendar, something you can move toward when you wake up. Give tomorrow a shape before you go to sleep tonight. There's one more habit that ties all of this together, and it takes 2 minutes. Everything I just said works, but without this last piece, it evaporates within a week. Most people skip it because it sounds too small to matter, but that's exactly why it works. Just write down what happened each day. No deep journaling, no long reflections, just 2 or 3 sentences, what you did, what stood out, what actually happened. It sounds too small to matter. It's not. It does one simple thing. It makes you want something worth writing down. You wake up knowing you'll have to answer that at the end of the day, so you're a little more likely to do something, take a detour, say yes when something comes up, which means you're more likely to have a day worth remembering, which makes you want to write it down. Small loop, but it actually runs. You can't fake it either. 2 sentences at the end of the day, and you'll know immediately whether anything happened or not. It holds you honest in a way that's not harsh, just clear. There's a side effect no one really talks about. You get more interesting to talk to, not because you're trying to perform or stack up stories, just because things actually happened, you noticed them, and they stuck. That's it. Interesting people just pay attention. 2 sentences, end of day, what happened, what stood out. Start tonight. Even if today was boring, write that down. Tomorrow you'll want to give yourself something better to write. That's the whole trick. It works because it's almost nothing, and nothing is easier to start. This is where it started for me, and I'll keep it simple. I wasn't trying to build anything. I just needed a place to put what I was figuring out, a way to think out loud. Then it became something slowly, messily, but it gave my weeks a shape, a reason to keep exploring, because now I had to say something about it. The learning had somewhere to go. That's the real idea, and it doesn't require a camera or an audience, a voice memo, a blog you never publish, a group chat where you share what you're noticing, anything that takes what's happening inside your head and makes it external. Because when you externalize it, it gets more real. You stop being a passive observer of your own life and start actually participating in it. That's why the people living interesting lives work this way. They're not watching their lives from the outside. They're in it, fully, every day. You have to be in it too. Find a way to say what you're learning, even to nobody. It makes the experience matter more. It makes you pay closer attention, and paying attention is most of the game. Every good move I've made in the last few years looked a little suspicious from the outside. Starting before I was ready, committing publicly before I had proof it would work, taking directions that didn't fit the obvious path, the stuff that felt too early, too weird, too hard to explain. That's where the interesting days came from. Every time. Nobody gives those moves an easy run. Someone shows up to question it. The skeptics appear. There's always that look. What are you doing? And who told you you could? Just keep building anyway. Not to prove something, not to make a point. Just because you actually wanted to do the thing. It sounded fun, and stopping would have meant a worse day. That's the whole argument. Do the thing people raise an eyebrow at, not out of rebellion, out of genuine interest, because it's the kind of move that makes a Tuesday feel like something, because the days you'll actually remember are almost never the safe, sensible, pre-approved ones. The eyebrow goes up, you nod, you keep going, build the thing, take the direction, start before you have permission. The interesting life is on the other side of the look. My friend, stop trying to feel motivated. Motivation is a side effect, not a starting point. The people living lives that feel alive aren't doing it because they woke up inspired. They're doing it because they made a decision and moved before the doubt caught up. That's the whole secret, and it's almost embarrassingly simple. You already know what would make tomorrow feel different. You've known for a while. The gap isn't knowledge, it's the 10 seconds of courage it takes actually to begin. So, here's the only thing that matters. Leaving this video, don't go looking for a new life. Take the one you already have and put something real into it today. One decision, one move, one thing worth writing down tonight. That's how a Tuesday becomes something worth remembering, and that's how it starts. If you found this video helpful, this next video right here will take you even further. Your choice, your life. Start now.